Okay, everybody, welcome one and all to our first Zoom workshop for Miss Dance Drill Team Solo Title Secrets for Nationals. I want to, first of all, just welcome you all. I know we have some stragglers still logging in. My name is Activate Arroyo. I'm the Executive Director for Miss Dance Drill Team USA. I run a nationals and also co-direct Miss Dance Drill Team California with my producer, Jasmine Hosner, who you will be meeting in a minute, as well as the rest of our presenters today who are from all over the country. So we're super excited to be doing this event today. We've never done anything like it. So hopefully technology will work with us and it'll be a good friend for the next 30 minutes, and we'll be able to share with you the incredible opportunity that this competition has in store for all of you, whether you are currently planning to compete at nationals this year or thinking about doing a regional event in your area. Maybe you want to compete at our regionals in Utah, Minnesota, Texas, Idaho, maybe Iowa at some point. This is something that you will definitely want to hopefully think about all of this information that we're presenting to you today. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start the program and just go ahead and introduce the presenters who will be speaking today. First off, I'll be introducing Jasmine Hosner.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine. I am the producer of Miss Dance Drill Team. I will be in the live chat throughout this entire meeting in case you guys have any questions. This time is for you guys, so any questions you have, whether that be about modeling, interview, or routine, I'll be popping in there and answering to the best of my abilities and then writing down what questions I feel are good for everyone, and then we'll share those at the end as well.
Great. I'd like to introduce now Jenny from Minnesota.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Raish, and I am the director of Miss Dance Team Minnesota. This is the 21st year that we have run Miss Dance Team Minnesota and come out to attend Miss Dance Drill Team USA Nationals as Team Minnesota. So we will be heading out to California at the end of March with a large team again this year.
Awesome. And up next is our regional director from one of our longest running partners at Miss Drill Utah, Laurelyn Coford.
Hi guys, my name is Laurelyn Coford. Myself and Nikki Ames, my co-director, have been the Miss Drill Utah competition directors for about 14 years now. And I actually worked with Jackie Fulmer, who was the previous Miss Drill Utah director for about 5 years. So I've been a longtime fan of Miss Drill, Dance Drill program, and we are super excited to learn more about the changes and the things that are happening currently. So it's going to be great.
Awesome. Nikki, would you like to say something as well? I saw Nikki just pop in from Utah as well.
Okay, sorry, had to unmute. Yeah, just everything Laurelyn said. We've been doing this for a while. We love it. It's just one of our favorite things that we do. Lucky that I get to do it with my best friend, Laurelyn. And it's just been a really cool journey, and to watch the growth and all the participants that have joined us. We just love them for life, and they've become our kids. So it's a near and dear to our heart program. We love it.
Thanks, Nikki. And up next is our 2018 national champion in the Miss Dance division, Amber Hoffman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amber Hoffman. I am your side stage manager at Miss Dance Drill Team USA, and I'll be there for nationals, so I'm a familiar face. And I've been through it all, so if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Amber. And I don't know if Dean can unmute his mic or his camera, but Dean, are you there? And would you like to say anything? Dean is one of our head judges for nationals. Okay, maybe not. Maybe he's having technical problems. We will get with him later on shortly. Some quick ground rules for you guys who are in this presentation real quickly. We are asking you to keep your cameras off and to remain muted, because that'll be the best way for you to ask questions. If you do have a question at any given time, please post it in the chat. As Jasmine mentioned earlier, she will be addressing questions, and also she'll be copying down some of the good questions so that she can share them with you all as a group at the end of this presentation. And by leaving your camera off, then you will also be able just to see all of us presenters in the gallery view. Otherwise, what we're going to do at this point is I just want to give you a quick brief history of the Miss Dance Drill Team solo title competition. It was developed in 1967. The first competition was held in 1968 right here in California at Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, the original site of the Academy Awards. The old trophies that were given back then used to be called the KT, named after our founder, the late Dr. K. T. Crawford, and they were made by the same company that made the Oscars for the Academy Awards. Just some trivia for you guys. It's the longest running dance competition in world history. It is also the first and original dance competition ever created for dance team and drill team programs. And there's just so much to go into. I can't go into all of it at once. So if you want more information, you can Wikipedia us, or you can check out our website for all of that good stuff. But aside from that, I did want to share our training video about all the different solos that you can do at nationals, aside from solo title, but it also does provide a very in-depth explanation of how solo title works at nationals. Based on where you live, depending on if there is a Miss Dance regional or a Miss Drill regional in your state, the solo title competition may vary or have variations that work well for your state. But the format for nationals is slightly different, and we want to make sure that everyone that comes to nationals is well versed in what they will be adjudicated on, how they will be adjudicated, and also to help you all feel comfortable with the process. It's not something to fear, it's something to be excited about, because when you participate in this event, you are partaking in the biggest dance legacy that exists in the United States in terms of dance competitions, dance team, drill team, pom, song, all of the above. So I'm going to share my screen just momentarily. Give me one quick second to switch over to my YouTube. Hopefully it doesn't chop up depending on your connection. And hopefully I remember how to do this. I haven't done this since the worst of the pandemic. So I have to go to, hold on, figuring it out. Give me 1 second. Is it? Let's see here. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. And we're going to go right here. Okay. A minute. Oh. I think this should work. If there is no audio, someone let me know. But let's see if this.
Miss Dance Drill Team USA is America's first dance team nationals since 1967. In this video, we're going to take...
I'm going to restart that. Give me 1 second. Were you guys able to hear any audio? Great. Perfect. Let's go.
Miss Dance Drill Team USA is America's first dance team nationals since 1967. In this video, we're going to take a look at the 3 different kinds of dance solos that your dancers can participate in at nationals. Our grade level solo, also known as our Best of USA division, is for soloists who is level and preferred dance style, jazz, lyrical contemporary, or hip-hop. Our improv solo is for dancers who wish to perform an individual contemporary freestyle to a piece of music selected by our judges. They have 45 seconds to make their best impression. Top improv solos advance to the grand finals. And finally, the most prestigious dance solo competition in America is our U.S. Solo Title Championship, patented by the U.S. Library of Congress. In our prestigious solo title division, contestants are evaluated by a highly qualified panel of judges in the areas of dance performance, technique spotlight, and response to an impromptu question from the judges. The dance routine element is 70% of the total score. The contestant must display talent in a dance routine that is 1 minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes in duration, using any or all disciplines of dance performance or styles. The contestant is judged on routine construction, execution, and showmanship. The spotlight portion of the solo title competition is 15% of the total score. The contestant performs a compulsory format demonstrating 5 movement combinations. Dancers should present areas of personal strength and technique, tricks, movement, specialties, etc. The total timing must not exceed 45 seconds to avoid penalty. This element is not performed to music and is scored on content presentation and overall execution of the following required star pattern formats. First, the dancer will start at point 1, upstage, center. They will perform their skill, pause briefly, and then walk 8 steps to position number 2. They will repeat this pattern, performing their movement skill, pausing briefly before walking 8 steps to position number 3. They will continue on using the same format with 8 steps between each point on their way to position number 4 and finally to position number 5. The dancer must walk naturally from position to position. Dancers must take at least 8 steps between positions. These steps can include preparations going into dance movement, or the dancer can take additional steps if more space is needed, but they cannot take less than 8 steps. Dancers also may not reuse any exact choreographed phrases from their dance routine element in the spotlight portion of the competition. The dress code requirement for spotlight is a separate outfit from the dance routine costume with an emphasis on simplicity. Contestants must wear all black fitted dance attire with any style of dance shoe. Bare feet also allowed. Chosen apparel should accentuate the dancer's talent and movement abilities. For a full listing of acceptable spotlight dancewear attire, please refer to our rules information packet, which you can download on our website. The final portion of the solo title competition is the judge's question, which is 15% of the total score. The contestant is scored on their response to an impromptu question from the judges. Their response must not exceed 45 seconds to avoid penalty. The score is based on confidence, projection, poise, diction, and enthusiasm. No notes or props are allowed. The combined score from all 3 elements determines the winner. There is only 1 round of competition for solo title contestants in the Mr. Dance and Miss Teen divisions, but our top 10 scoring solo title contestants in the Miss Dance division following the preliminary round will be announced during our grand finals night show. With their scores from prelims wiped clean, they will recompete in the dance routine element. The top 8 from that group will then recompete in Spotlight, and the top 5 after Spotlight will then recompete in the judges' interview question. All solo title division champions are crowned during the grand finals night show. In addition to the competition elements of our U.S. Solo Title Championship, this division offers a unique experience unlike any other. Solo title contestants also get to know one another, participate in a fun good luck gift exchange, enjoy a meal together during their welcome orientation dinner, rehearse and perform in an opening number performance for our grand finals, and receive complimentary admission to our Triple Threat Masterclass Dance Workshop featuring 3 of today's most trendy dance industry teachers and choreographers. The entire experience allows your dance students an opportunity to get comfortable with each other, get a feel for the competition floor, and to shake off any last-minute nerves so they can truly do their best, making the trip to U.S. Nationals worth all their hard work and preparation. But more importantly, this category allows dance directors, coaches, teams, and parents the ideal opportunity to provide a lifelong, memorable experience that celebrates their dancers' accomplishments and status as a role model within their school dance program. If you have any questions regarding any of our dance solo divisions, please reach out to us at registration@mddtusa.com. Miss Dance Drill Team is America's first, original, and only nonprofit dance team nationals. The MDDT legacy is your moment to shine.
Okay, folks, hopefully you're all still awake and I didn't put you to sleep. Hopefully that was exciting for you guys. Really quickly, I'm going to start having our presenters kind of break off and explain the 3 different elements of our solo title competition to help you guys prepare for what will hopefully be one of the most exciting competitions you have ever competed in. So I'm going to pass things off first to a team of people. Jenny from Minnesota, I'll pass it off to either Laurelyn or Nikki from Utah, and also Jasmine from California to talk about the spotlight portion of the competition. I don't know who wants to start, but maybe you guys can unmute your mics and just share your input.
Sure, I can start. I'm Jenny from Minnesota, and the Spotlight competition, formerly known as modeling, is just a place for you as a dancer to model and spotlight your best technical skills, creative movement quality, and transitions in between those. So there is a star formation that has been typically done in, I know in California and in Minnesota, that will continue to use at the Nationals this year. But at the 5 points of that star, really just highlighting your best technical or movement abilities to showcase to the judges your technical and movement quality abilities as a dancer. So we have used this in Minnesota for the last 20 years, and it is an area that I think our dancers get a little bit nervous for, but it is also something that the more prepared you are for this and the more confident you are in your movement, it's a really awesome way before you get out there to do your solo to really show those judges, this is the level I'm at, this is the confidence I'm going to bring to the floor. So from a director standpoint, I always really encourage kids, just as much as you practice that solo, put a lot of time into creating an awesome spotlight routine so that you are putting forth your best foot before they see you on the floor for your solo.
And just adding on to what Jenny said, we want to really stress like the walking aspect of the star formation as well. That's something that a lot of people do get nervous about. We want to make sure that you guys understand that the walking part is still a part that's being judged throughout your entire spotlight routine. So we want to make sure that those are natural walks, something that does portray your personality as a dancer, and not something that you guys really have to like stress on your toes or skip around. We just want it to be very, very natural and really showcase like the transition moments between point to point. It should all be kind of featured as one whole routine instead of 5 different routines at each point.
I'll quickly just say a couple things about Spotlight. It's actually my favorite element of this whole event because it's so different and it's kind of a rise above your typical solo competitions because it is an extra element that showcases your strengths as an athlete, as a dancer. But what I love about it and what I have found to be really unique and special about it is, it's done to silence, right? There's no music in the background whatsoever. So it really gives you an opportunity to shine as an athlete, as a performer within yourself. But you can really showcase unique strengths. I know some kids are really good at ballet technique, or some kids are really good at some acro skills, or some are really great at turns and leaps and jumps. It just gives you a chance to really be creative with your strengths and not feel like you have to be like everybody else necessarily. It's a voice for you to showcase who you are as an individual. And you're not dancing to somebody's piece of music either. You get to truly be yourself. And it's my favorite part of the whole thing. I love it.
I think another thing that has changed and progressed in the last year in all areas who have a regional competition leading into the nationals is it used to be a long sleeve black leotard, black tights, black shoes was the uniform for this. And now moving forward, progressing, we are allowing the athletes who compete in this area to bring their own uniform that they are wearing, still all black, still a modest athletic look, but it is allowing a little bit more individuality in what you're wearing in that area. And some of the other directors can pipe in and say, my biggest thing that I encourage my dancers to do is wear things that are still modest, athletic, and accentuate and highlight the great body lines to show your technique and to show your movement without distracting from those things by what you're wearing. So being that everybody does have different body types and statures and things like that, wear something that's really going to accentuate your look, so you're looking strong, athletic, and still really classy and clean in that area.
One thing that I love about the spotlight modeling is just that like Jenny and Laura Lynn were saying, like you just get to be unique to you, and it can be like your style and what you want. But when else in your life do you get to just brag about how good you are and showcase yourself? And so I just think it's really cool that it's like we all accept it, and that it's like, oh, okay, this is a moment where we get to see how cool everyone is. And you can just feel comfortable by doing that. And I don't know, I love that you're able to put yourself out there and show how cool you are. So do it.
Thanks, guys. I'm checking to see if Dean is still on the call. I don't know if maybe he dropped. Dean is one of our head judges. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have I think Amber start talking about the routine segment of it and see if I can get Dean back on the call. I think he might have dropped, and then that way we can have some more discussion about the judges on stage question, which is also a part of our competition. And it's an important part because who you are and what you have to say and how you express yourself when you walk into an interview or into a job interview or into an audition, or when you're amongst a group of people, is really important to our organization in terms of finding someone who can serve as an ambassador for the brand and for the dance team and drill team community. So, but without going too much into the judges' question right now, Amber, I'd love for you to share your experience as a past winner. And honestly, Jasmine, you can also chime in as well, because those of you might not know, but Jasmine also competed, and I think she lost by like 0.2 at nationals. So sorry, Jasmine, I don't want to bring up any old memories. I see Dean popping in right now, but we'll talk about routine first since I've already segued there. So Amber, go ahead and, I don't know, what was your experience like, and what were you thinking about when you were preparing all of these different elements the year that you competed and ultimately won?
Well, for me, I'm not a big public speaker in general. I definitely think that going through this process has made me a lot better at feeling comfortable talking like in a room on Zoom with strangers right now. But so though we're not talking much about interview, I'll go through a few pointers on your solo routine. The solo routine's in place so that everyone can be shown as an individual, and you can tell your story and emotionally move the judges and your audience in general. This is your chance to differentiate yourself from the other contestants and show what makes you you. So whatever style you decide to choose, that's up to you. And it's different from the modeling or the showcase portion, because that's to show your technique and that's to show your tricks. But this is your chance to showcase your passion and your presence for dance. Make sure that your routine is well rehearsed, obviously, because the more you rehearse it in class, the more those technical aspects of your routine you don't have to think about, and you can think about your passion and your presence and all of that stuff on stage. It was definitely my the part that I liked the best. As for interview, because we're going to segue into that, again, this one was always the hardest for me, but since I'm not the best public speaker, I felt that the easiest way for me to get through in the interview and feel a little less stressed was connecting my answer to what's personal to me. So my passions, my family, my friends, dance, all of those things, rather than trying to like answer the question based off of how I feel the judges are going to want to hear, if that makes sense. The judges are there to judge you more so on the way you convey yourself or your confidence in your presence through the interview question, rather than being like, oh my gosh, why'd they say this rather than this? My biggest tip, a few tips during the interview, is to exhale once they give you your question, so that all those nerves just release through your body, and to make sure that your hands aren't like in front of your face or while you're holding the mic, distracting you or the audience and the judges. And one more thing is rehearsal as well for the interview also helps. So if you get your friends and family and you're like, hey guys, ask me a few questions, that also helps too, because then it allows you to feel that stress a little bit that you're going to feel, but then understand how to relieve that stress and like let it go through your body and let it be what it is. But rehearsal definitely helps.
Going back to routine for a little bit, that's kind of one of the aspects I think most dancers are comfortable with, especially if you're coming from studio or any other space outside of the dance team world, because that's what we do from when we're little, right? We practice dance, we practice our routine, and then we go on stage and we perform. I think that, to Amber's point, like the biggest thing with your routine is to showcase your guys' passion and something different from what you are doing in modeling. Modeling is there to showcase your technique, but with the routine aspect, it's somewhere that you can show your emotion. It's somewhere that you can show a different style of dance that you feel that you are probably better at than other contestants, or something just even different. I remember one competition, there was a male Mr. contestant that came out and did a salsa routine as his solo, and I thought that was very cool and very interesting because that really separated himself from everyone else. So we just want to make sure that you guys are using that to tell a story, to really showcase what makes you you. And it is the biggest point value for your guys's title portion as well. So we want to make sure that that is what you are focusing on heaviest.
Yeah, and I just want to pipe in real quick too and say I use the same score sheet in Minnesota that they do at Miss Dance Drill Team Nationals. And one of my favorite parts about the solo score sheet that Miss Dance Drill created was that 30% of your score is focused on performance, where a lot of other places you go, it might be 10% of your score or maybe 20% of your score. Where here, 30% of your score is how you perform, how your rapport with the audience, how you connect with those judges. And that's a lot more than other studio competitions or dance team competitions really weight the performance aspect of things. So as you're preparing, just as much as you're preparing your turn combinations or your skills, like Jasmine said, you need to prepare your performance and how you're conveying that performance, because that is weighted just as much as the execution of your routine. And that is one thing I love about the score sheet at Miss Dance Drill.
Thank you all so much. That was so informative. I know Dean's been trying to pop in and out. I think he's in a dead zone, but Dean, if you can't turn your camera on, maybe try turning on your mic and let's see if maybe you can speak that way and at least share your thoughts. Dean, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you give it a shot? Okay. I heard him for a second.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, and I think the picture doesn't work.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. So Dean,
I look haggard right now anyway, so.
You sound clear as rain to me, so you sound pretty good. So Dean Balladad is one of our head judges in the judges question department. And he is someone that you will meet at nationals if you're competing this year or planning to compete at nationals next year, or for those of you in California, some of you have seen him before because we bring him in as well. Dean, we'd like you just to speak to what it is that the judges are generally looking for from the onstage question portion of the competition.
So, I thought this was always a unique element to the competition, and everyone always is so scared of that. And I think for me, after all these years, I always just want people to leave confident that they could be great dancers. They could have like the most amazing routine, but they also have a voice. And that's, I think, that's what I learned from Dr. Crawford, is that everybody has a voice, that they could be able to communicate any of their ideas. So whether they continue to move on in the industry or they move on to another job, is that they can confidently just have a voice. So what I know personally, what I'm looking at is that just that volume, that projection, and I want them to be able to answer the question on their own. And I think sometimes, I get it that it's when we go to the competition, we get the contestants will look at the question beforehand, and that's fine too. But I think if they try to answer it on their own, if they just receive the question on the spot, I think that just shows a level of confidence. I think that shows creativity. I think that shows confidence. But I also take into consideration the question that a 16-year-old will answer is going to be different from someone that's 21 years old. So I have to take that into consideration. I take that into consideration, the maturity level. So I think if they really just from the heart, from their gut feeling, how they answer the question, that's everything to me. That's just something that I want a 16-year-old to be able to answer the question in their ability, in their level, and not when it's not rehearsed, when it's meaning, the questions are always going to be about leadership. It's always going to be about their experience in dance. It's always going to be about how they were inspired. So if they can take that to all the consideration and to be able to organically answer from a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old point of view, I think that's what's special about it. I hope that just, is making sense, because I know this is not someone that is a 21-year-old who's in PR. It's completely different. That's what I take into consideration. I'm also, we always do this crash course at the luncheon about, okay, ladies, gentlemen, this is how you should answer your question, meaning take that deep breath. I think I overheard Amber say that earlier. It's just to take a deep breath, take a moment to gather your thoughts, and then just go right into the answer. And then I'm always encouraging, like at these luncheons, is when we give you the question, take a moment and then come up with that subject and then come up with a supporting statement. I know some of the other directors have heard me at these other workshops. It's when, like, for example, I'll tell the contestants, if I ask the question, what is your favorite color and why? It would be great to hear something, this is just a basic example I tell every year. So you could say anything like, my favorite color is blue because it reminds me of those times where we go to the beach with my family, and that blue ocean just reminded me of great times, and just being it's summer and we were just in vacation mode, and that's why I like the color blue. And so hopefully that formulates in that young mind what to say. And I also give the example, what we don't want to hear is, I love the color blue because it's a very comforting color, thank you. That didn't really give too much. But we're just trying to, at least at that level, just try to give them an idea of how to just dig deep and just, educate them, especially if they're missing school for this really amazing competition. I hope that they're going to come away with learning something, and I think, and I'm hoping if anyone wants to jump in, I don't think there's any mystery to it. We just want someone to give like a good example, just to get out there and have a voice, project. I think some of the more difficult interviews that I had is when someone's never done it before and then they just don't speak up, and you try to be encouraging, and sometimes I'll give a warm-up question, and it's not a penalty, it's not a bonus, but I think sometimes I just want someone to just warm up their voice rather than being off cold when I say your official question is. But if they're just really nervous and they feel like they're falling apart, I'll just say, hey, this is completely not related, but here's a bonus question. What's your favorite, what is your favorite dessert and why? And then I think when their voice just starts to warm up, and they'll say, okay, here is your official question. So I think it's just, that is something that I like to give just as I want it to be a positive experience and not like this deathly, we're just judging that. I mean, we are judging that, but it needs to be a positive experience for everybody.
Thanks so much, Dean. Love that. Love all of that insight. It's always so valuable to hear you chime in about all of that. You're so good at the PR side of everything. Jasmine, did you have any insight in terms of the Q&A or anything that you'd like to maybe touch upon in regards to maybe questions or concerns you think most dancers might have, who might be here with us today, or maybe that you've heard from this season so far?
I know from the dancers that I've spoken to, especially the new ones coming in, their biggest question is what range of questions are we going to ask from, right? What is the bank of questions that we're going to ask from? When preparing, that's probably a big thing, because from what Dean is saying, like he can be asking you about your favorite dessert, right? But with our official questions, we really like to stick to kind of more an interview, professionalism based question, anything that has to do with dance, anything that has to do with your team, anything that makes the traits that you learn throughout dance team and your time as a dancer go into the real world, right? So I would really focus on preparing those answers for nationals, because those are the questions we do like to stick to. And then when talking to the judges on what they're looking for, they're definitely looking for someone that can stick out with their answers, someone that can tie to personal experiences. And as a kid, as someone in high school, maybe you guys haven't had too many experiences, but just being relatable is always great, right?
100%. And I think that pretty much sums it all up, guys. We've pretty much covered all three elements. Whether you're interested in competing this season or next season, please reach out to any one of us. I'm going to be sharing contact information for our regional directors in Utah, Minnesota, and maybe a couple, California, maybe a couple other places, Idaho as well. I did post a link in the chat. I'm going to repost it in there now. It is a link to a Google form. If you'd like more information from the regional director in that area, maybe you're going to be coming out and representing Utah or Minnesota or another state, please reach out to one of us. And when I send you some information after you sign up on the Google form, and that way we can keep you in the loop in regards to the event this year. If you're maybe a freshman, sophomore, or junior, or planning or thinking about competing in title in a state near you, we will put you in contact with the regional director closest to you. And that's pretty much it. I did want to give the directors from Utah and Minnesota a chance to maybe share when their next regional date next year might be, if they have that idea, or any other programs that they have coming up that you might want to consider thinking about, maybe individually, or maybe talk to your coach and maybe get your team involved. But Laurelyn, do you have any, Nikki, what do you guys have coming up in Utah?
So we're still working with a few different host facilities right now to set our schedule, but most likely we will have it at the end of October again. We usually like to try and find a school that doesn't have school going on that day. They have like fall break or a day off of school, just because we have to start really early in the morning. And so we're still trying to work that out with some schools right now, but we'll have our dates hopefully in the next couple weeks. But end of October is our goal.
Very cool. And how about Minnesota? What does that look like for you guys?
Yes, ours is always typically the second to last or the last weekend in October as well. It is our winter competition season starts the last week in October. So we like to coordinate our competition with the beginning of the winter competitive season. So we get the solo title competition done, they get into their team season, and then after the team season is over is when we start preparing for nationals. So don't have our date set yet, but it is usually one of the last 2 weekends in October.
Very cool. Good to know. Good to know. I do know that we also have regionals in Idaho and in Texas and potentially Iowa next season. So we will be posting that information on our website for you as well, in case you are in one of those states and you'd like to give it a shot. Or if you are from a different state and you'd like to come to nationals this year, there is also a way for you to qualify as well. We're going to be hosting a virtual competition in about 3 to 4 weeks, where you can upload a video and we can critique you and have judges critique all of your stuff in preparation for either nationals or to qualify for nationals. If you're not currently, if you don't live in a state that has a Miss Dance or a Miss Drill regional in your area, we can qualify you that way so that you guys can compete at nationals in that solo title division. All of our other solo categories are open, by the way, to anyone from any state. You don't have to pre-qualify. Even dance team routines don't have to pre-qualify to compete at the national competition. The only category that requires a pre-qualification is through the regional for your solo title division. So for your Miss Dance Drill team, your Miss Dance team, Miss Drill, Miss Teen, Mr. For those guys that are on the call today as well, we are thinking about you as well. We do want more of you guys to come out. The criteria is the same, but you guys have a lot more freedom. You can get away with a lot more because you can take more risks, and the judges always love the Mr. division because it's just such a departure from everything else that they're seeing that day. But other than that, I did go ahead and post the Google form in the chat. I know our California regional next year will be a 2-day event, January 27 and 28. It got so big this year, we sold out. We had to turn schools away, sadly. And it's great that that event is growing again. So without further ado, I'd like to thank all our presenters today for joining us from around the country. It's Sunday. I'm sure everyone has lots of relaxing and restful things to do today to get ready for the big week ahead. Thank you all so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your day and a wonderful week, and hope to see you at nationals. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.